Hey guys, this is Bartholomew Orr. Join me on this journey as we chronicle the stories and lifestyle of some of the world's most innovative people who will share how their faith, wisdom, and direction help them to change lives and make a difference in these unprecedented times. It is my prayer that these out of the box conversation with extraordinary people will help all of us think differently about faith and doing the unthinkable. And today, my special guest is Pastor Bryan Carter. Pastor Carter, how you doing,
Hey,
man?
man, excited to be with you.
Man,
Excited
I'm
to be
glad to
with you.
be with you. And, as I don't know if you know this or not. Well, I know you know this or not, but we've been copying y'all a long
Listen,
time.
we all in the same business of doing it. We all learning from each other.
My goodness, because Concord has just been a leader in just church ministry, expository preaching, and you have just taken the church to heights unknown.
Oh man, I appreciate the encouragement, man. It's been a journey, and we are thankful that we all can learn from each other, grow together, strengthen one another. We need each other. It's the only way that we can ever become what all God has called us to be.
Well, look. Now I'm curious about this. Tell me a little bit about yourself, just your background. Because are you originally a Texan or?
So I'm originally from Oklahoma. My
Okay.
father was a pastor, and he was a mechanic. He was bivocational, and later on in life, he became a church planner, and he started his own church. And
Wow.
I was in middle school around that time, and I just followed him as he did ministry and work. My mom was a nurse, and they served together. I had two older brothers, and so in that point in journey, I knew I wanted to be in ministry. I knew I wanted to be a pastor. And
So you're the baby of the family.
I'm the baby boy, man. They say
Ah.
I'm spoiled. I say I'm blessed.
Well, I'm the baby as well,
Hey,
so we got
listen,
something in common.
That's right. That's right.
So from Oklahoma, were you pastoring there first, or?
So I served with my dad throughout high school, throughout college. And then when I went to college, every pastor I knew was bivocational. So I knew I needed to have a job, right, to be
Okay.
able to support full-time ministry. So I studied to be a teacher. I wanted to be a math and science teacher, eventually a principal. So I did that. And then upon graduation, I met my wife in college. I went to Oklahoma State. She went to University of Oklahoma. And then after college, we moved to Texas. She was from Texas. My mom was from Texas. And so it just became a natural connection. So we ended up in the DFW area there.
My
early on.
goodness.
Yeah.
So when you first went there to Texas, did you all originally join Concord? or-
Right. So my brother was a member of Concord. And in high school, he would send me tapes of Dr. E.K. Bailey. And I remember listening and getting exposed. And then for graduation, he would give me a gift of sending me to the preaching conference that we host.
Okay.
And man, that thing just changed my life. And it happened to be just a few months before we moved there. So when we moved there, and so we're looking for churches, right? Concord would be our first choice, but we lived an hour away. Right, we're
Oh, wow.
Dallas Metro. It's just spread out.
Well,
everywhere.
everything is big in
Listen, man,
Texas.
it's all spread out. And we driving. And so one day I scheduled a meeting with Pastor Bailey, and I say to him, my plan was to ask him for a church closer, right, that he
Okay.
could recommend. By the time I got done talking to him, I'm volunteering in the youth ministry.
Oh, wow.
And things just continued to flourish from there.
So you started preaching as a boy?
I started one of those 15, 10, I just fell in love with the scriptures and just felt called by the Lord. I just knew the Lord wanted me to preach, pastor. I had this dream at 17.
Wow.
It was a college, you had to write an essay, right, for college. And my dream was to have a church with a school and a community center that was really kind of this hope. You know, I grew up in the 80s and 90s when you have gangs and
Yeah.
drugs and all this.
Right.
And I had this dream of a church that could be kind of this space, right, that provided hope for the community. And so I never knew the Lord would kind of bring some of that to fruition, but that's where I was at 17. This is what I want to do, Lord.
How old are you now?
I am 47, so it's 30
What a
years
blessing.
later, man.
What a blessing. So your faith journey got started when you were young.
It did, man. I grew up, I was blessed to grow up in a Christian home. So going to church, being involved in ministry, watching my mom and dad serve. My dad wasn't always as involved, but I watched him mature in his faith, right? And that was kind of cool to watch him get serious about the word. So for me, that Christian home, right? It
Made
kind
all
of
of the
set
difference.
it made a huge difference in my life. And it wasn't it was kind of, it wasn't, I mean, they would drug you to church, you know that, that's how that happened,
Right.
but eventually that thing starts sticking for yourself. So, yeah.
So with you, was there ever a struggle with your faith, or would you say that, you know what, it was pretty grounded from then
I
on?
think it was grounded until I went to college, and then I had all that freedom, boy, and that freedom, and nobody to tell me
In
what
Oklahoma?
to do. Listen, Oklahoma State college life, doc, party school, man.
Oh, my
Listen, doc,
goodness.
listen. And I got away from that house. I said, listen, I'm in my own space. So that college life was a real tough time of testing, real tough time of temptation. I mean, you're 20, 17, 18. Any 17,
Yeah.
18-year-old in a free space, that's when you get tested the
Yeah,
most and have to
yeah.
deal with so many challenges. And you pray the Lord keeps you grounded to bring you
Wow.
back home after them college years.
What were you involved in church in college? Did you serve on the
I
staff?
was, man. I was in Bible studies. I was a chaplain for my fraternity. So I was trying to stay close to God as close as I could. But listen, that thing was a struggle trying to manage through all of that. So, yeah.
My goodness. So did you ever work within that field of education?
I did. Upon graduation, I taught school for 2 years. You know,
Okay.
I didn't know anything about full-time ministry. That just wasn't my framework of staffs and all that. You know, so I'd always planned to do both. But I taught school. I wanted to be in the urban setting. I wanted to be with us in the hood. That's where I wanted to go. I remember
Right.
talking to the recruiter. I said, listen, I want to go to the urban setting. She said, I got the perfect place for you. She put me at Dunbar Middle School. And man, it was trying and challenging, but so rewarding. And then 2 years after that, the Lord would invite me to join the staff at Concord Church.
All right. So faith started young, stuck with it, even though the college was a little testing time. You still maintain that walk with the Lord. Now, let me just, because I need some wisdom, even because so
Sure.
many young people are going off to college.
Sure.
Statistics says that only a third is returning back to faith. What can the church do to make sure that more of our young people are prepared for college to really stay grounded in their faith?
You know, if a young person can have some healthy relationships and some safe places, I think it makes all the difference for them. You know, I think a lot of times college students think they have to be perfect,
Mhm.
think they can't struggle, think they can't have fun. But I think knowing they can have fun, knowing they can be themselves, knowing there's not pressure, right, that they have to be there every time, man, I think it changes the game. And then having a person, right? We have a
Yeah.
couple of small group for college students that we have. It's
Okay.
virtual, right? They're going away, but they join in and have their small group, right? So connection and relationships and people
Right.
that love them when they come home for Christmas and the summers, you know, and
Staying
helping them get
engaged with them.
jobs, helping them get internship with people in the church that got companies. I mean, I think all of that saved just to say, hey, we love you. You're going to have your doubts and struggles, but we're right here for you.
Taking a holistic approach.
Yeah, man.
I would, one of the things that I would love to see at some point churches come up with is just a network of
Yes,
churches,
sir.
because just like
Exactly.
with Dallas and then
Yeah.
Memphis, Nashville,
Yeah,
you have pockets of schools where
Yeah.
we know our young people are going to be.
exactly.
Why not already create some partnership with churches where when you leave Brown
That's
and go
exactly
to
right.
Dallas,
That's
look,
right.
Concord
We got
becomes
you.
your church
Right, right.
away from home.
Yeah.
And because that way we can hand them off even to another body of believers
Yeah.
that can help them stay rooted in their faith in the Lord.
So true. So true. So true.
All right. Well, wisdom, man. My goodness. At 47, pastoring Concord Baptist Church, first of all, what does wisdom mean to you when you think of just wisdom?
I think it, to me, I think it means just the how to live, the practical implications for God's word for everyday life. And so how do we practically apply it and live out his word in everyday life, right? So that's kind of what I think it means.
All right. So give me some wisdom. One for just believers,
Yeah.
especially new believers.
Yeah, yeah. For new believers, it really would involve, you know, that faith is really a journey, right? That you don't get there tomorrow, right? That it's a journey that you're on to become like Christ. So continue to seek truth, seek his word, seek his people, seek his church, but also continue to let God grow you through that season, right? You just don't get there overnight, right? In your marriage, in your relationships, in your
It
finances,
is a
in your
process.
it's a
It's
process.
growth.
So seeking growth every day is a great way to live your life.
Now, you all have, talking about growth, y'all have a particular growth track, I guess, at Concord for believers and new people to the church.
Yeah, so our mission statement is people growing people by connecting them to their next step with Christ. That's
I like that.
our mission, and our slogan is we grow people.
Yeah.
And the concept is simply that we believe everybody has potential in them that God wants to maximize. Help you to do that. So for us, we have really a 4-part strategy.
Okay.
Worship, which is daily time with God, as well as weekly worship.
Okay.
Grow, which is growing in the word in community, which is our small groups.
Okay.
Serve, which is using your gifts either in the church or in the community. And then give, which is regularly and consistently given to God's word financially.
I like that. So 4 things, part of that growth track for you all:
Yeah.
worship, grow, serve, and give.
Yeah, we feel like those are the 4 elements I ought to be seeking to live out in my life that define me as a mature believer. We could add 4 or 5 more to that list.
Right.
We try to
But
keep
keeping it simple.
Keep it simple.
Keeping it
Let's
simple.
start there.
And then walking the people through those process.
Right.
And is small group the way that you walk them through that process?
Small groups is a big part, man. So part of my conviction through the pandemic was, as the churches closed and we had to all navigate through that, the Lord really convicted me and said, okay, let's really examine what the church is really supposed to be about.
Mm-hmm.
And out of that conviction, making disciples became something incredibly important to me because I felt like we weren't doing as well a job as we could, one. And then in this virtual environment, like, how do we live that out? And so we came out of this saying, we started this campaign called Disciple Makers. And part of that effort is for year 1, to get 300 people to start small groups.
Okay.
We're going to give you the resources, the tools, we'll train you. We want 300 people to get small groups that you're going to walk with 5 to 10 people over the course of 2 years.
Okay.
With the expectation that group will then reproduce at the end of that 2 years.
So 300 pretty much facilitators or leaders of some small groups.
Of those small groups. And our hope is to do that every year, with the hope that will help us get to potentially almost 5,000 people over a 10-year period. But it's empowering the people to understand your growth, not about my worship, not about me fulfilling the 4 myself, but who else am I taking on this journey, right? How do
disciples reproducing more disciples?
You got it.
Because you're on to something, because many of us have won the numbers game. People are coming through the doors in groves, or they're watching online in groves.
Right.
But how do we really hone that down and really get them to growing in their relationship with Jesus Christ?
Exactly. And be a disciple maker, right?
Be a disciple
so no matter
maker.
where you're watching, I don't care if you're local, I don't care if you're national, are you making disciples? That is the measure of success.
Wow.
Not my giving. Those other 4 are important.
Right.
But if I'm not taking other people on the journey, either my kids, my wife, my extended family,
So are we maturing? Are we maturing in our faith in Jesus Christ? Because a mature adult ought to be able to produce more children. Yeah.
Because if I'm measuring it by watching it, I watch service for an hour, I'm done. Check.
Right.
No. If you're not taking somebody else in the journey,
I like that.
Then we've missed it, right? That's just the beginning of your maturity and of your journey in Christ. So,
all right. So great wisdom for pastors. Man. Wisdom, worship, grow, serve, give, keeping it simple. But then you're a family man. Oh my goodness, wisdom for husband, fatherhood. How do you balance all of these many hats and roles?
Wow, man. I'm a father. I've been married to my wife. We will celebrate 25. We'll be 24 years this June.
Okay.
And then we have 3 kids. We have a sophomore in college. We have a junior in high school, and then we have an 8th grader. And so, man, we're in this back half of this thing, man. And as you know, it's an exciting and a journey every step of the way. But man, they're great kids. and I've learned a lot
Y'all
about
spaced them out.
man. So 2 years and then 3, so not too bad.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
The first 2 are 2 years apart, and then the last one's 3 years behind that one.
Okay.
So we not too. We in that 2030. Everybody should be out of school and hopefully out the house. I don't know, but nobody's keeping track. But I'm trying to think through. But no, it's leading at home, as you know, as pastor as you do, is as critical as leading at the church, right?
Right.
And it's a lot of the same models, right? It's having a vision for the home. It's meeting people where they are, right?
Yeah.
Loving our kids for their own distinct differences. It's being intentional about spending time together, right? It's working through the tough times.
Now, you've said a lot of great nuggets right there. Meeting them where they are.
Yeah.
Loving them according to their own unique, because all of our kids are different.
There's night and day.
And you just cannot treat everyone the same.
No, you can't, man. You gotta. I got one that's an extreme extrovert, and so she loves to do stuff.
Yes.
She's a planner. Matter of fact, prom is tomorrow.
Oh my goodness!
So she's been on me. My job is to get this. It's 10 of her friends. So I've been coordinating the limo. That's my job, to get the car so they can go. They pick it up at 6. They come home at 4 a.m. in the morning.
I hope we're going to have you back there in time.
That's on Sunday morning, too. Don't you know I got to preach on Sunday? I don't need to be but it's, but she's incredibly engaging. And so her and then my son is kind of an introvert, shy guy, right? Yeah. And so just figuring out, right, how do I support each one?
Right.
In their spaces, make time for them and hear their hearts. I've had to learn that the hard way. Haven't always excelled at that, but I'm learning to really celebrate their gifts, and their talents,
right?
And both my girls, one did cheerleading and another one did dance.
Oh wow!
I know nothing about cheer. You know what I mean? I know the sports, right?
Well, look, I know nothing about girls except for a granddaughter. So yeah.
So just having to learn and get into that world, it's been fun.
Oh, that's all right, man. Now, 24 years of marriage. So what's the wisdom for husbands?
Just listen to her, man. Whatever she say, do just go and do it.
Yes,
man.
yes.
Do it fast. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Hey, my goodness. And because y'all met in college.
We did. We were college sweethearts, and the Lord really answered my prayer. For the single brothers that are looking, or singles that are looking, man, just keep praying and believing the Lord for who He'll have for you. I mean, I needed somebody in my life, and the Lord sent her to me, and she's been one of the greatest gifts I've ever had in my life, in a relationship.
Look, hey, I tell folks, without Valerie, I'm pretty sure, I know there's no way I would be where I am.
No way.
and we met in college as well.
Oh, wow, that's great,
Met in college.
Wow.
We didn't start dating, though, until she was getting ready to graduate.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And so,
wow.
But my last year of college was actually our first year of marriage.
Okay.
And,
wow.
And then let's see, I started pastoring before we actually started dating. So
Okay.
It was a wonderful thing here.
Man, listen, it makes a big difference, man.
Oh,
to
my
sharing
goodness.
this thing together. It's,
Yes.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Well, direction.
Yes,
Especially in the midst of this pandemic.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, it has been a difficult season, to say the least.
It has.
What have you learned through it all?
Ooh, man. Listen, one of the things I talked about earlier was just kind of refocusing or redreaming about what the church needs to be. And that kind of led me to the whole disciple maker piece. So on one side, I learned some things about the church, which I think I learned some things about the mission of the church. I learned some things about how we do church in terms of shifts we needed to make, as everybody's done, in terms of this online campus and those dynamics, but also how you disciple people. So I feel like I've learned some things in that space. I learned some things about myself and about our team, right, in terms of how to be more focused, how to be more strategic. I think before the pandemic, we were a bit kind of wide in terms of our attempts and all these ministries and all these things.
So how to narrow and focus.
Oh, man, I feel like pandemic shut stuff down so that we could get clarity on what's really important.
Right.
There's some programming that we're no longer doing. There's some So ministries we've had to scale down a bit.
Right.
And so it's been difficult for all of us. But I think in some sense, the Lord was telling us and revealing to us to focus on what's most important. Like even now, we're open, right? And we're
Right.
back 2 years later. And some people are saying, hey, what about this? I'm like, listen, if it's not making disciples, right? This is,
Hey, we're not going back and picking up some stuff.
I'm trying to say,
You know?
I mean, let's stay focused.
Keep it focused, keep it simple.
Yeah.
And I believe we've learned so much
Mhm.
in terms of the pandemic and just how to navigate through these difficult times, especially this virtual
Yeah.
hybrid world. I mean, how are
Yeah.
you all doing that?
Man, I tell you what, I am super excited about this hybrid virtual opportunity. I mean, I think for years we've longed to have an online campus,
Yeah.
and we never could really get it going. But to now have the online camp bigger than the in-person campus is a fascinating
Wow.
phenomenon that I think gives us opportunity to reach even more people.
Yeah.
We had our Easter service this past weekend, and I met a couple of people. I met one person from Georgia. I met another person from the D.C. area. Person
Wow.
from Georgia had come to get baptized for Easter weekend. Person in Georgia
Oh,
had come
wow.
because she'd been with us for a year or two, and just wanted to come and be a part of Easter service. I said, man, this is crazy. Like it's just what the Lord is doing.
Right.
It's just a very unique approach, but people are growing and people are connecting and people are experiencing life in a new way.
And, since you all have this new disciple maker strategy, even those individuals that are not presently physically in the church can still be a part of worship because now they are leading their own group back home, discipling, and my goodness, shepherding their own little individuals.
That's the hope, right? Is that we can be the church both virtual and at large. And so yeah, we've adapted in that space, and we're navigating through it. Like we have reopened, and we've been open since June, but it's only been the last few weeks, like most churches, that are seeing that return. And so we're still shaping what this looks like. But I love it. I mean, a almost 50-year-old church now having a blank canvas to really think through how this ought to look. We don't get those kind of gifts often.
What a blessing!
Pastors.
What a blessing!
Yeah.
So what's next? What's the next?
Man, this disciple maker piece, man, is keeping our hands full.
All
Recruiting leaders, developing leaders, training leaders, continuing to champion the vision. I think this next space for the next 3 to 5 years will keep us incredibly busy. And then we also have a lot of work we're doing in the community. We have a community development corporation that we established that really focuses on 3 core tenets, both the mental health crisis. So we have a counseling center. We continue want to expand that.
Okay.
We also do a lot of stuff around economic development, which is also housing, this current housing crisis that's happening across the country.
Right.
We do a lot around mortgage and rental assistance, as well as financial empowerment, as well as we are exploring some opportunities to do some buildings and some economic development projects in our community. And then the other piece is really wrapped around our food pantry. We feed families each and every week.
Yeah.
And a lot of just many things you guys are doing. I mean, just staying connected to our
community.
Staying innovative. So that Harmony CDC, we're continuing to expand as we continue to serve the needs of our immediate community.
I like that. So mental wellness, economics, as well as just how do we continue to immediate needs of the people and that disciple making. Right. Look, have you written that in a book yet?
No, not yet.
you got to do the workbook because it's much needed.
Yeah.
And man, I appreciate you taking this time.
Oh, listen, it is an honor, my friend. I'm such a huge fan of your work and your ministry, man.
Now look, we copy Concord in great ways. Look, thanks for joining me for the conversation today. Let me know what you think and connect with me on my website and on social media. Be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, our e-newsletter, so that you won't miss out on the many ways that you can live your life outside the box. Stay tuned for more conversations that will inspire you to do the unthinkable. God bless you. God keep you.